appears that Billy Napier has taken a play at old Nick Saban's playbook, but not on the field this time, off the field, in his recruiting tactics. As we all know, unless you're living under the rock, this weekend was hashtag Jubilee Weekend. As we're coining the phrase here at Hightop Sports, it was a massive recruiting weekend, probably one of the biggest recruiting weekends in a long time for Gainesville. The buzz was absolutely insane. If you've been following it on Twitter or if they're on Three's message board with Keith Nebo, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, probably not. It's been absolutely insanity there. But one big thing hasn't happened yet. We ain't got them shades, Billy. We have yet to see the shades come tweeted out from Billy Napier, meaning we have landed ourselves a recruit. There was a lot of hype, including from our channel ourselves, that there will be probably 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 recruits committing. Now, there's still time. It's still Sunday, but it is reported that most guys will be leaving this afternoon. So I don't expect there to be too much noise, but we'll wait and see. I'm not coming on here to be sad or to be anything like that because I think there's a lot of positives to take away from this weekend, and that's what we're going to get into right now. So first order of business, 5-star defensive lineman David Stone took over Florida Recruiting's Twitter page or Instagram this weekend and was slightly documenting what was going on. So we kind of had some insight on top of the insider sources that On3 was delivering through the forums, right? So the first Friday night, the first thing that we saw them in the locker rooms around this kind of, I guess, photo shoot area where they're standing in this like swamp looking things. Everyone's kind of hyping up. Music's pumping up. Looked like a good time. The following day, they went to David Buster's. I heard the food was really good. A lot of things are coming out that seemed really exciting. I'm pretty sure they ate at Spurrier's restaurant. There was a lot of noise that Spurrier was there as well. Again, how much of all of this is true? Not quite sure. We see the big recruiting buses outside of Spurrier, so these guys are moving and grooving all weekend long, which could be part of the reason why we didn't hear much this weekend. These guys were just genuinely enjoying themselves. And think about it. If you're building the staff, you don't want to take away from the momentum you have of these kids going around, having a good time, chit-chatting with one another, and just being an all-out good experience. Now, one thing that seems consistent from last year is when they got to their dorm/hotel rooms, which are the new dorms out there in Gainesville, which are absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful. They have all that kind of stickers and these things in the room that makes up the photo of themselves. I don't think it made a photo of them last year, so definitely uptick to this year. And another big one is LJ McCray. Now, he started the weekend off by tweeting out a bunch of Billy Napier stuff, which had me fired up. It had everybody else fired up. It's to be said that he's staying with Kelby Collins, who has been heavily recruiting these guys all weekend. I think it's always a big component when you can have somebody who's on the team, especially who was just recruited in the previous recruiting cycle, be able to take these guys under their wing and show, hey, I've already been here for a few months. Here's what it looks like. Here's what's going on. And I'm just a freshman. Imagine you're a higher star recruit, whatever it may be. Kelby Collins, I believe, was our highest rated recruit for that class. So obviously he's a big time stud coming out of high school currently for the Florida Gators. But bought in on recruiting these kids, which is great. A lot of noise out of DJ Lagway too, who has been recruiting his tail off. Not going out of the way. There was a report again on the On3 forums where him and Jeremiah Smith were locked onto each other's hips all weekend. Not much, not being very pushy, just hanging out, just being part of one another. Now, one last thing before I get into the Saban comparison and what Billy did, his last little checkmate piece of the weekend headed into Sunday, is there's been a lot of great positive noise from DJ Lagway and his family. I know DJ Lagway has committed for the 2024 class to sign in December, but we have to remember he has not signed yet. So although we always forget and we think that DJ's recruiting, and he's doing a phenomenal job recruiting for the Florida Gators, and he is 100% bought in, it is important that we continue to impress him and his family, making him feel more involved and as comfortable as they possibly can, making that a sure lock as it could ever be. So love hearing that, excited to hear that. How is Billy Napier pulling a playbook out of Nick Saban? What are you talking about, Sheldon? Well, I'm sure you guys have all seen it by now. Some of you may not. But Billy Napier brought out the old Maybach Mercedes-Benz SUV this weekend. It was said that he was driving around a few guys. This probably was the last slew of guys. I believe he probably started this on Friday, where he would go pick them up, drive them around, drive them to dinner, hang out, a more personalized relationship one-on-one with Coach Billy Napier himself. This is the video of David Stone. I believe a few other guys, Jaden Jackson from IMG, were in the Maybach with him. Princely even kind of tweeted about it, saying, because they were saying, hey, what do you want to play? Coach asked what the kids what they want to play with. Make sure you play the clean version, because I'm sure Billy, likes to keep PG. But this is something that Nick Saban has been known to do, is he'll go around and pick up these top-end recruits, drive them around, have that personal experience. We've talked about this before. In Georgia, they do a scavenger hunt. The winner gets to meet Kirby and hang out with Kirby. The coaches are a big deal. right? They separate themselves. Everyone wants to talk to the head coach, not always just the position coaches. So for Billy to take time and to say, hey, let's go ride around, let's chit chat, let's hang out. You're a priority to me. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on. Let's hang out. It's a $250,000 cars, ladies and gentlemen. That old Billy and the boys are driving him around. So good to see that he's taking what he's learned from Nick Saban and putting that nice little personal touch on it. He was even shown this morning, Sunday morning, parked at campus with it. Jubilee weekend comes to a close. The big question is, was it successful? Was it as hype as we all thought it was? I believe on the campus, yes, it was. I believe it lived up to the hype. I believe it's probably even more hype than we can even comprehend ourselves and through social media. I think there was a lot of buzz and excitement. I think the recruiting team delivered. I think they set the tone. They set the standard. Here's the positive here. I made a reference in one of our live shows talking about Jerry Lee Lewis lighting the piano on fire. I believe we have lit that piano on fire. Now, when these kids go and they have their visits with FSU later this month and Georgia, right, there is a comparison. We set the bar. Hopefully, that bar is going to be hard to meet. But here's the one good thing. If they had a really good weekend here with us, that's something that's going to be on their mind their entire time through all these visits. So we had an opportunity. We were first big bang. That's huge. Again, we as the fans, the podcasters, we expected there to be a commit. The day's not over yet. We could still throw the spacesuit on nonetheless, but we shouldn't hold our heads low, okay, because none of these guys have committed elsewhere just yet. So these guys could commit later on. Don't forget, we've got Friday Night Lights coming up in June, the end of June. I was hoping we'd have a few. Connor Clark said he would expect 5 to 6 more by the end of this month. So we still are expecting some guys to come. I would love maybe earlier this week we get a few to maybe cancel their official visits or commit, even though they're still going to do an official visit just to see. But, hey, I'm bought into the Florida Gators. But the day is still young. We still have got some time here for Sunday to go. But let me know in the comments, what did you feel? Are you upset? Are you disappointed? Or are you still kind of in limbo because nobody has not committed or nobody's committed to anywhere else? So it's not like any bad news has happened yet. So time will tell. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.